UFC 239 goes down in Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena Saturday night. The headliner of International Fight Week, Jon Jones versus Thiago Santos. Thiago brings that power. But Dan, Tom, talk to me. Jon Jones, come on. I don't know how you pick against him with anybody. So we'll get to the pick eventually. But just when you start to break it down, I mean, how do you evaluate somebody's chances at figuring out a riddle that hasn't been solved yet?
Well, when you have a matchup like this where the odds are so greatly favored, like remember Bisping's rematch with Luke Rockhold? I mean, no one was giving Bisping a shot. And even though I did pick Rockhold in that matchup, which may be a hint to who I pick here, I wanted to focus on, what could Bisping do to kind of upset that balance. And I think Thiago Santos, for him, it's really being the Thiago Santos, not so much himself. We've seen him have highlights at 185, John, but since moving to 205, we've seen a completely different Thiago Santos. It's almost like an 8-year-old is behind the controller, like spamming with the buttons, just pressing whatever he can. But there is almost a method to the madness, I dare say, and we saw that in his last fight against Blachowicz. We saw that maturity angle. So I guess the question for me is, can Maheta put that chaos in some type of control and aim it at Jon Jones here?
Well, listen, I mean, Jon Jones, I don't see anybody in the division out-techniquing him or beating him over the course of 25 minutes. I definitely agree that I think Thiago probably brings what I would say you might need to win the fight, which is one-shot KO power, right? I mean, I think, to me anyway, I think that's the best way to beat Jon Jones is one big shot. So break it down. When you saw it, when you looked at it, when you felt it all out, is this going to be the weekend that Thiago Santos shocks the world, or does Jon Jones continue rolling?
I like what you said as far as one big shot. Now, we talk about the proverbial puncher's chance. I really don't want to limit it just to that, John. But if you look at it, Thiago Santos really is the best chance at that. He doesn't just have that proverbial punch, which we saw in his last fight. He has knees, kicks, elbows, pretty much everything you could throw with the 8 limbs, Thiago Santos is doing. But some have called him, John, a term called he's a cannon, but maybe a glass cannon. I don't think that's the case. I think Thiago Santos is very tough, and he showed his toughness. But what worries me is the ground game. That's ultimately why I got to pick Jones here. I said it before his fight with Gustafsson. His time off, he spent a lot of time grappling. Even when he just mentions, names like Israel Adesanya to trash talk, what does he say? This guy has no ground game. All the hints you can look for possible, the ground game is on Jon Jones's mind. I think that's where he takes his fight.
Interesting. All right, well, if you want more information on that, read the full breakdown from Dan Tom. I'm an MMA Junkie, but hey, we think Jon Jones is going to roll. But UFC 239, stay tuned, MMA Junkie.